Several Laurel and Hardy shorts were reissued in the late 1930s with new titling and music scores. Most of these exist only in a revised form, but here is the original 1930 version. Hey guys, welcome along to another review here on Coins Age Media. I am your host, Rodney Stewart. This is the second time that Brats has appeared in the Laurel and Hardy box set. This is the final disc we're getting into. And yes, this one here is basically, at the beginning, I'm actually looking at it on the screen here at the minute. Brats, black and white version. Several Laurel and Hardy shorts were reissued in the late 1930s with new titling and music scores. Most of these exist only in a revised form, but here is the original 1930 version. So basically, it is what it is. It's the original version with the original music, the score, and the titles. And yes, this is a genuine treat to watch Brats at any stage. And visually, and the way that film is put together, bar the music and the titles, is exactly the way we've seen it in the previous version. But do you know what? After reading that there, you think to yourself, there's no point in watching this movie. It's the exact same thing over again with just different music and different titles. But Brats is probably, for my money, one of the best Laurel and Hardy short movies that was ever made. This, if memory serves, is earlier in the box set. It appeared on the disc that was about dual roles in the movies. And in Brats, Stan and Ollie play both themselves and their own children. And the beautiful thing about this movie and the way it's put together is there's two sets been used simultaneously that are edited beautifully together. There is the set piece of the house where the adult versions of Stan and Ollie are, and a giant version where Stan and Ollie can be dressed as their small toddler children, but they look like themselves. So everything is giant in scale compared to themselves as their children. But when it's put together and you see the whole thing play out with both the child version of themselves and their adult versions of themselves, it's absolutely flawless. This is so well done. For 1930, it was absolutely brilliant. The detail is brilliant. Basically, Stan and Ollie are babysitting the children, and the wives have gone out for target practice. That's what you get the title cards at the beginning of the movies. And the kids are playing up. Stan and Ollie are trying to pass the time by playing drafts, and the kids are playing, and they're not getting along. They keep kind of fighting with each other and disturbing Stan and Ollie. And eventually, Stan and Ollie, right, if you don't settle yourselves down, you're going to have to go to bed. So that eventually happens. The kids are sent to bed, up to their bedroom. Stan and Ollie go to play a game of pool in the room at the pool table. And there's a lot of good slapstick moments in here with the adult versions on their own. Playing a game of pool, Stan is eating marshmallows. Oliver's queuing up for the game, and he uses the chalk. The chalk is cue. And Stanley asks, do you want a marshmallow? And Oliver takes a marshmallow, of course, but he doesn't eat it. He sets it on the table so he can take a shot. So, not looking what he's doing, he's watching where the balls go on the table. He reaches down to lift the marshmallow, but instead lifts the chalk. Puts that in his mouth, starts chewing, and then, of course, Stanley goes to chalk his cue, but he lifts the marshmallow and starts, and Oliver realises he's at the chalk instead of the marshmallow. So it's, random stupid stuff like that there. The pool table is positioned in a bad way in the house. Stanley can't take a shot properly, ends up breaking glass and a cabinet behind him. yes, so they have their disagreements between themselves. Upstairs, the kids are getting ready for bed. Well, supposed to be getting ready for bed, but they're still playing up. And of course, the noise attracts the grown-up versions of Stan and Ollie. They come up, and Oliver is like, losing his cool. You kids don't get to bed. I'm going to break your necks. And Stanley's like, don't talk to them like that. Treat them with a bit of respect. You'll get more out of them. So Oliver decides, okay, takes a quarter out of his pocket. He's like the first one undressed and the bed gets his quarter. And he sets it in the bedside locker. And the kids start to excitedly get undressed for bed. And Stan and Ollie leave. And in the hallway, which is my favourite part of this entire movie, happens here. The setup to it is when Stan and Ollie originally enter the room, the kids are kind of fighting, and the miniature version of Stanley throws a roller skate to hit the child version of Oliver, but misses him, flies over his head. The two adult versions come in through the door to the bedroom. Stanley ducks, the grown-up Stanley ducks, and the roller skate hits Oliver. And, of course, after they leave the room to go back down the stairs, favourite part of the entire movie, Stanley's like, you see, but a kindness goes a long way, and Oliver backs it up. Yes, you're 100% right. A little kindness goes a long way. And he turns to walk down the stairs on the roller skate, as at the top step, and of course steps on it, loses his balance, falls down the stairs. But he doesn't fall down in a normal way a person would fall down these stairs. You see an angle from the top of the stairs looking down. Oliver is bouncing down. You see his back, but the 2 feet are straight up in the air. 2 legs are straight up in the air, so you get the back shot of him with these 2 feet, 2 legs, the cat, and boom, 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 the whole way to the bottom. Absolutely brilliant. In the bedroom, again, the kids aren't getting along. Stanley wins the quarter because he goes to another room, gets his pajamas on, but he puts them on over his normal clothes. So the baby, Oliver, isn't happy about this. Stanley turns his back to get into bed. He hasn't his pajamas on properly, and of course the baby, Oliver, sees, or the toddler Oliver sees that, toddler Stanley still has his normal clothes on. So things escalate once more with the children. They end up fighting over the quarter. Oliver gets it, puts it in his mouth. Stanley punches him in the gut, and he swallows it. It leads on to a lot more nonsense between the kids while Stan and Ollie, their grown-up versions, are downstairs. And when they do decide to go to bed, they see a mouse in the room, so they decide to go capture it. So toddler Oliver, is on his knees, hands and knees, looking under the bed. Baby Stanley, toddler Stanley, I should say. They're not babies, they're toddlers. Gets a toy gun, tries to shoot the mouse, hits Oliver in the butt. He's running about crying, so Stanley comes up with the idea of filling the bath with water to cool him down. Well, I skipped over a little bit there while he's jumping about. In the bathroom, a bottle of liniment falls over, pours into the back of toddler Oliver's pajamas. He goes crazy. It's burning him. That's when Stanley fills the bath. Toddler Stanley. So that sorts him out. And, eventually toddler Oliver falls into the bath full of water, loses the head, goes after Stanley, and accidentally turns on the shower head. So when toddler Oliver goes to run out of the bathroom, he slips in a bar of soap, falls, and one of the best falls in Laurel and Hardy history at this point. So well done. Downstairs, with toddler Oliver hitting the ground, the whole roof gives way, and the room where the pool table's at. So the adult version of Laurel and Hardy, start running upstairs to see what the heck is going on with the kids. And by the time they get up the stairs, the kids have managed to get themselves on the bed. They hear them coming. After a short sequence of them with boxing gloves on, dancing around the room, fighting with each other, they hear the adults coming, jump into bed, hide, pretend they're sleeping. But Stan and Ollie, adult versions, come in, see that they're asleep, and decide to leave again. As they do, toddler Stanley, looks around to see what's happening. Toddler Oliver still pretending to sleep. Toddler Stanley brings out his fist with the glove on, hits him a slap, goes back to sleep again, pretends to sleep again, and of course, toddler Oliver is going to retaliate. And as he is about to club toddler Stanley with the boxing glove, the door opens up. That's the two adult versions of Stan and Oliver. And what the heck is going on? Why won't you sleep whenever your mother's here? You always go to sleep. And the kids are like, Mum always sings us to sleep. So, of course, Oliver tries that as a last resort. Almost has him over to sleep. And then Stanley tries to join in the chorus of the song, and he just, croaks out. And the kids wake up again. Stan and Ollie. Oliver isn't happy. They're going up Oliver because the kids are now wide awake again. Will you go to sleep? And toddler Oliver's like, can I have a glass of water? And while all this is going on, we see in the bathroom from earlier on, when toddler Oliver turned on the shower head, the whole room is fallen really high up with water. So Oliver's like, if I give you a glass of water, will you go to sleep? And they're like, yes, we will. And Stanley goes to get a glass of water from the bathroom. Oliver stops him and he's like, you know what, I'll get it, you'll probably spill it. He opens the door and a flood of water comes out of the bathroom, knocks the two adults off their feet. Just a torrent of water rips them across the room. That's where it closes out at. That's pretty much a full review of the movie right there. That is pretty much everything that happens. But again, this is pretty much the exact same version visually. There's no changes in it, apart from the titles at the beginning and the end of the movie, and the score slightly different in there. But as far as the film's been put together, it's exactly the same as the one you get earlier on in the box set. But again, it's always a treat to watch Brats. This is such a good movie, and if you've never seen Laurel and Hardy before, you're interested, you're curious about them, I would say Brats is probably one of the ones that you just look up online, sit down and watch it. I'm pretty sure you can see these for free online, but this box set is cheap enough now to buy, and if you're interested in actually having a physical copy of some comedy legends, Laurel and Hardy, you can't go wrong with them. This box set is amazing, and Brats is definitely probably very high up on anyone's list of favourite Laurel and Hardy movies, so definitely check this one out if you haven't done it.